using scientific methodology so you can get real world results. This is our first time setting all this stuff up, so I apologize if things look a little bit wonky, and right now you're going to have to see behind the wizard's curtain if you're on the Jitsi meeting. So over here, we have people who are live and waving back. And then over here, we have our feed out to YouTube and to Facebook Live. So this is a grand experiment. So today we are talking about spiritual tools to help you cope with unprecedented times. And I've got someone still not muted. So Amy's is driving, so she'll get people muted as they come in. Now am I unmuted? Can everybody hear me?
If you can hear him, put a thumbs up.
Okay. Now, can you all hear me? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Okay, everyone can hear me now. I was muted. Okay. So welcome to Spirit 360 Fellowship. I'm T.S. Hall, the Stoic Medium, and I'll be leading your service today. Spirit 360 Fellowship is a spiritualist church. We're online, intentionally, not because of the circumstances. And we teach spirituality using scientific methodology that allows you to get real-world results. Today's talk, we're going to look at how many people I meet and I observe who say they're spiritual, but when I observe what they're able to do, it's like they're still having training wheels on their capabilities. We're going to show you some of the tools and skills that help you take those training wheels off. The first of those tools we'll practice right now, and we call that meditation, stillness. So this is going to be a long meditation. So it's going to be 10 minutes. 5 minutes of concentration, holding a single spot, followed by 5 minutes of no thoughts. So we will get this going. Now you'll hear a bell, and when you hear the bell, that will indicate it's time to start your concentration. You'll hear a second bell, and when you hear the second bell, it's time to let go of that spot, that image you've been thinking about nothing else besides that, and go into no thoughts. Then at the end of the 10 minutes, you will hear a clap, wood clapper. Now, when you hear the wood clapper, the meditation's over, but I want you to stay in a quiet, calm, receptive space, because then we're going to do a guided visualization to help with our self-healing. So we'll start now, and in just a few seconds, you'll hear the bell go off. So welcome everybody on the Jitsi meet. So we're getting ready to meditate now. And release your spot and go into stillness. complete your meditation. And as you complete your meditation, I want you to adjust your position just a little bit, make sure you're comfortable. I want you to take a deep breath in and slowly let it out. And as you do, I want you to know that what we're about to do next is one of the most vital skills you can develop. I forgot one thing, so pardon me for just a second. Let there be light. Self-healing is one of the things that most impressed me when I first began my spiritual journey 30 years ago. So the purpose of the meditation is to get you into a quiet, calm, still place, a place of quiet receptivity, a place of thinking, tranquility. Once you're in that place, you're more naturally open to spiritual information, to spiritual input. This is the ideal place for you to do your self-healing because it allows you to detach from any symptoms you have in your body and allow yourself to bring back and restore harmony. So today's healing, I want you to put your hands out in front of you just a few inches, and you want to put them about 4 to 6 inches apart, maybe 8 at the most. And you want to slowly move your hands back and forth, about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch at the most. And as you do that, you'll start to feel a little bit of warmth, a little bit of tingling between your hands, in the palms of your hands, and maybe even in your fingers. And as you do this, understand that what you are experiencing is you're experiencing your own vibration, the essence of your energy. That's the interaction of your aura C, your color aura, between your two hands. So that is you. This is a frequency, a vibration, and energy I want you to become intimately familiar with. Now, imagine that energy, that vibration between your hands is brilliant white light. It's like a white light of a snowball in bright sun. It's luminescent in the fact that it gives off light. Make it as bright and brilliant white as you possibly can. Make it solid. In fact, I want you to make it so solid that it feels like you're holding a pint of water. A pint weighs a pound. So you've got a 1 pound pure white energy ball between your hands. Now, if you slowly move your hands back and forth, you'll feel that it's more solid than it was before, and that's what we're looking for. Is this solid 1 pound ball of energy, pure, brilliant white. In fact, if you were to hold your hands up much longer, they would start to get tired because this energy ball is that heavy. Very good. So now I want you to slowly move your hands to the top of your head, and then put your palms into the top of your head and release that energy ball into your head, and it's going to go into your head and your body, and it's going to start melting that pure white light towards your toes. And as it flows past your brain and into your ears, feel it relax your ears. All tinnitus is gone. In California, they call it tinnitus. Into your sinuses, and your sinuses are relieved. It melts down into the roof of your mouth. This brilliant, white, pure source of energy. Luminescent in its quality. Through your jaw, relaxing all the muscles in your jaw, into the base of your skull, into your spine where it attaches, relaxing all of those attachments, ligaments, and muscles. Into your throat and back of your neck, Remember to take a shallow but nourishing breath as it goes into your shoulders, relaxing all the big muscles there. Feel the warmth, the healing, the recreation of each cell as it goes into your upper torso. Your upper back. And when it gets down to about the bottom of your rib cage, we're going to stop and pause there for a second in the center part, and we're going to direct our attention back up to our shoulders. And we're going to allow this energy to flow down our shoulders and into our upper arms. Brilliant white healing luminescence makes it down to our elbows, our forearms, and into our hands, out our fingers. Relieving any disharmony it finds there, erasing it and returning it back to harmony. And as you take another gentle deep breath, direct your attention back to the bottom of your rib cage, right around your diaphragm area. Now you've got this brilliant healing energy from the top of your head through the tips of your fingers and to the bottom of your rib cage, steeping your body in perfection, harmony. Allow the energy now to flow down into your abdomen and middle part of your back. And as it makes its way down towards your hips, feel it restore all of your organs, all of your vital glands back to their original factory condition, their genetic perfection. And as you get into the lower part of your back and the upper part of your pelvis area, take another gentle breath in, but this time, I want you to put a little smile on your face. Not a big grin like the Cheshire Cat, but just a gentle smile. As you know that this energy entering your pelvis is restoring your body to perfection, allowing your genetic code to recreate itself in three-dimensional reality within your body, removing any and all disharmony as it enters the upper part of your legs and the heavy muscles in your buttocks. And as it goes down your thighs and your hamstrings towards your knees, feel the relief, the relaxation, the strengthening, the vigor and vitality returning to these large muscles. And as they enter your knees, you get a small reconstructive surgery on your knees, restoring them back to their youthful, healthy, harmonious way. Down through your calves, into your ankles, and through your feet and out your toes. And as you sit in this complete, white, brilliant luminescence of healing energy, the combination of all healing vibrations, allow yourself to smile and take a couple of small but meaningful breaths. And follow along with these few simple affirmations. I am well. I am healthy. I am greatly loved. And so it is. Well, thank you for joining me in that. One of the things that's, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, is Healing is the hidden secret of our spiritual abilities. And I'm not talking about prayer. I'm talking about active, visualized creation from nothing of health and harmony and healing. As we continue our work together, I want you to become a healing master. And the great thing about being a healing master is we're going to use your body, your reality, your avatar this lifetime as your science project. Fair enough? Excellent. As I mentioned, I'm T.S. Hall, the Stoic Medium, and we're going to have a little conversation today. And this conversation is going to be about same shit, different lifetime. And yes, I did say a bad word. And I did that deliberately. Because right now we are in unprecedented times. Or are we? If you're listening to this and you're still here and you put up with the meditation and you put up with the healing, most likely you're what we would call an old soul, someone who's had at least 30 lifetimes before. And if you've had 30 lifetimes as a human being before, this is not your first pandemic. This is not your first experience of life not going exactly the way we thought it should. So what we're going to look at today is how do we access that spiritual experience, that spiritual knowing to help us survive and thrive during these uncertain times. You know, as I was preparing this talk and trying to figure out what I'm going to do amidst all the technical stuff, which, trust me, it was a challenge. I remembered when I was a small boy in Mississippi on the Gulf Coast. And my dad was a figure it out kind of guy. He was born on a farm in Mississippi. And he figured out the best way for me to learn was to have me figure it out myself. So I had this bicycle. And it was time for me to take those training wheels off the bicycle. And probably for about 3 or 4 or 5 days, I don't really remember, they kind of all jumbled together, he watched me try to ride the bike. Now, in this part of Mississippi where I was, we didn't have paved roads. But they weren't gravel either. They were covered with these white shells. So we had a white shell road. And the interesting thing about white shells is when you drive over them, they get into little bitty pieces. Now, when you fall off of a bicycle and land on white shells, guess what gets stuck in your knees and your butt and your elbows? Little pieces of white shell. So after about a week of me trying to figure this out or so, my dad's brother joined us. And his brother, my uncle, brought his kids. And my cousin Mike did me the biggest solid in the world. He grabbed the rear of the seat while I was on the bike, and he grabbed a handlebar. And he started running and then let go. Now this happened to go down a small hill. And guess what? I had figured out how to ride a bike. Instead of going 3 or 4 feet, I was going 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 feet. But me learning how to start riding a bike didn't teach me a vital lesson. How the hell do you stop? So I stopped in the way I'd stopped before, but I was going much faster, and I toppled over. If you're old enough to remember Laugh-In, they had the little guy on the tricycle. That's kind of what it was like. And if you're going faster, guess what gets driven deeper into your elbows and your knees? Shell. But what was interesting about this particular accident, this particular mini catastrophe, is I didn't care. I had ridden a bike. I had a goal to learn how to ride a bike, and my dad let me struggle and figure out how to do things on my own. And then all of a sudden, someone came in and gave me a hand, helped me get started. I understood balance. I could ride a bicycle. I liked that because it was a new level of freedom. The way we teach spirituality here at Spirit 360 and Old Soul Academy and T.S. Hall, the Stoic Medium, what we do is we bring scientific methodology into our spiritual practice. And just like riding a bike, the moment you understand balance, you experience for yourself that balance, you understand it for life. I personally know that if I don't ride a bicycle for 10, 20, 30 years, that given a bicycle, I could hop on it and I could ride it because I understand the distinction. I understand the experience. I understand within my whole being what balance is. That nothing will change that. Most people I observe and witness who say they're spiritual, the way I said it before, is spiritual AF. If you don't know what spiritual AF is, Google it. It's another bad word, but I'm not going to say it this time. But most people who think they're spiritual are on the bicycle, but they still have training wheels on. You know, it's the image I had this morning when I was going through this talk in my head is, you know, we live in Southern California, and Encinitas is like the woo-woo capital of the world. And it's also a big bicycle area. So you have all these people riding bicycles everywhere. And in California, they have these really wonderful matching bike suits, all this Lycra with tight-fitting jeans or tight-fitting shorts and tight-fitting shirts and matching shoes and matching helmets and matching goggles, all this stuff. They're just all matching. So when I walk into the most spiritual places and observe what's going on, I see all these people with all the right things, looking just so, uttering all the right words. But when you get to their bicycle, it still has training wheels on because their skills haven't developed to the point where they can remove the training wheels. Fortunately, when I started learning, the gentleman who taught me understood scientific methodology. The most important thing to him is that you actually understand how a bicycle works, and then you get on the damn bicycle and you ride it. And that's what we're going to talk about here today. And we're going to wrap this up very, very quickly. The core skills to help you survive this pandemic and start to thrive in your life are contained in our healing exercise. You have to be able to quiet your mind using stillness meditation to the point, and imagine it's like clearing off a whiteboard. So you have this completely clear whiteboard with no thoughts, no mental activity, no rampant emotions. And you are in a quiet place of receptivity, a place of thinking tranquility. By thinking tranquility, I mean you've got a thought going through your head, but you don't react to it. And if it's not a thought that supports you, you dismiss it and allow yourself to think something that you want, like this white ball of energy. So in your life right now, if you have a condition in your physical body that is not genetic conditions are a little bit different, use this healing method every night before you go to bed. Lay down, quiet your mind, create the ball. Take that ball and put it into your body wherever you need that help. And over the next course of days and weeks, allow your body to restore itself to, as I mentioned jokingly, its original factory equivalent, your genetic perfection. Because what happens is as we heal the spirit part of the body. We're reminded of what harmony is. And then it, in turn, reminds the physical body of what harmony is. And this way I can explain this is, when we put the white light into our spiritual body, and you don't have to think about all the details on this, but when you put the white light into your spiritual body, it's like hitting a key on a piano. The string will start to vibrate, but then the other strings around it will start to vibrate at the same frequency. So this white light is the white light of all healing energy and all healing vibrations. And as soon as you put that white luminescent light into your body, it reminds your spirit body of what perfection is, because it's malleable. It does what it's told. And if we've had a sore elbow for a long time, our spirit body starts to think we have a sore elbow and we want it, but we start to let go of this sore elbow with this white light, and then it starts to vibrate perfect, not sore. And then that reminds the cells in the body to start to vibrate, not sore. Now, how do you do this? It's simple, but not easy. And that's the thing about all spiritual things. You want to be able to allow yourself to have faith enough to start, hope enough to start, but then you want to replace that faith and hope with experience as quickly as possible. Just like riding the bike. I had faith I could, I had hope I could. My dad said I could. He didn't help me worth a crap, but he would say, do this, try this. And I would go and fall, go and fall, go and fall, go and fall. But I really wanted to ride the bike. All of a sudden I had an angel show up, if you will, who gave me a push. We say in the spiritual community, when the student's ready, the teacher appears. But what I want you to understand is that teacher is you. That teacher is that spiritual wisdom, that spiritual knowledge, that spiritual experience within yourself. My job in this whole thing is what my cousin's job was. My job is to kind of give you a little push. But you got to do the work. You got to ride the bike. You got to figure out how to stop the damn thing without hurting yourself. And once you figure that out, it's with you for life. And more importantly, you will never go down a path of following anything that doesn't feel right, because you're going to be a master of what this spiritual feels right is. So this core skill, this core spiritual skill is simply this: meditation followed by practice until you get results. I think if you're over the age of 20 or 25, you may have one or two things in your life that in your body that need a little healing. I've been working with some people who have been dealing with massive amounts of anxiety. This one person thought they had the perfect place and they moved into it. But the little kids next door were never out until she moved in, and now they're being little kids making all kinds of noise. So she doesn't have control over her environment. And what's interesting to know about that is there are many things in life we have no control over. Right now, we can control our behavior to keep ourselves safe, follow the rules, if we will, about this quarantine we find ourselves in, connecting with everybody online and remotely. I can't control any of that. I can start to quiet my mind, calm my emotions, and still my fears, just like riding a bicycle. The better I get, the more present I am, the more aware I am, the more spiritually influenced I am. We call this opening the spiritual eyes of your soul. Because remember, your soul is part of this physical body. It dies with this body. Your spirit continues after we die and gets involved with spiritual evolution through the process of reincarnation. So the core skill is meditation. The core experience, the riding the bike, is to apply this simple healing technique to some area in your body that you want to be different than what it is. And you continue to practice and release and get present and know until one morning you wake up and it's better. One morning you wake up and the anxiety has lost its edge. That overthinking voice in your head is quiet. Again, it's not easy, but it is dead simple. My highest blessings. So in the past, when we were doing live things, I would get questions from the audience. But here's what I want you to do. If you have questions, send them to me by email. ts@tshall.com. ts@tshall.com. Ask me your questions, and I will answer them. You can also join us in the Old Soul Academy Facebook group. Old Soul Academy Facebook group. And we will have a conversations and dialogues there. This is our announcements part. I forgot to announce the announcement, so I apologize about that. So the announcements are simply this. April 12th, we're starting our classes online. This next Wednesday, whatever the date that is, because I didn't look it up, we're having an online messages circle. So it'll be using the group we have over here that are watching me. And if you want a message, you can get a message. The way I'm going to do it is we're going to start it at one time, and then every half hour we're going to let 6 people in. So if 20 people sign up, you'll be assigned a time, show up at 5, show up at 5:30, show up at 6, because that way you don't have to sit there and wait for the whole time. And if you want to wait for the whole time and listen to all the messages, that's fine too. But I'm not going to mandate that because it's totally exciting for me. But sitting around for 2 hours to wait for a damn 2-minute message. Ugh. Okay. That's the announcements. Now, we're a church. We're a ministry. I'm not going to ask for any donations right now. The reason I'm not asking for donations right now, because I'm not organized. I friggin' didn't get it put in place. And at the same time, many of us are dealing with loss of income and dealing with stress. So these services are my gift to you. If you're in a position and you would like to send a donation, shoot me the email at the address we talked about before. We'll gladly accept it. Because all this other stuff, it does have a real cost. Our classes that start in April, they're going to be free for the first 90 days, no charge whatsoever. And at the end of 90 days, they'll be $27 a month for all the classes. And if this thing goes more than 90 days, which I don't think it will, then we'll extend the free period, because it's more important for me that you learn how to ride the bike, that you truly learn how to take the training wheels off of this avatar you have this lifetime, to get access to the freedom and the joy and the skill set of being spiritual that will assist you to find happiness and start thriving in this life. The next part of our service is an absence healing. Now, the way this absence healing works is because this is live and it's going out. If you're listening to this live, which is sometime during the morning of April the 5th, that means absence healing works. You can participate in this. If you're watching this after the live version, then I'm the transmitter. I'm not working, so that absence healing will not work. So if you're here, this is an opportunity for you here and now while we're live. This is an opportunity for you to send healing to those who could not be here today or be with you in your vibration today. So there's 3 parts to this. Your part is to hold an image of the person with whom you would like to send healing to. And you want to hold that image as though they are happy, healthy, and vibrant. Almost like you're looking at a photograph of them. You will have time to send healings to 3 different people. So you're going to hold 3 different images in your mind, one after the other. My job is to project the healing energy. Now, one person asked me recently, isn't this just prayer? No, it's not prayer, and here's why. Because we are specifically sending healing to one person energy, just like this energy ball we imagined before, to assist them for their highest and best good. Whereas prayer is just the thinking part. Now, in our classes, I will show you how to send absence healing to people by yourself, where you basically do the same two parts. Then in the third part, or you'll create the image of the person, you'll create the energy, and I'll show you how to do that in our classes. A little bit too technical on a Sunday service. But then in a brief prayer, I'm going to invite our spirit guides and teachers. And you have your spirit guides and teachers with you, who I'm talking to them, as well as my own. And I'm going to invite them to take the energy I project and send it to the people you image for their highest and best good. So that's how absence healing works. And after a brief prayer, we will begin. So after the brief prayer, you'll hear three bells. Every time you hear a bell, visualize or hold the image of a different person. And then at the end, you'll hear the block clap. Spirit, I invite you to take this healing energy I am projecting and send it to those imaged for their highest and best good, that they may experience health, harmony, complete peace of mind, and well-being. And begin with a bell. Amen. So that's the end of the absence healing portion of the service. Now it's the fun part for me. I get to do messages for people. So, as I can see here, let's see. We went through this before that I don't have my glasses on. So, all right, Claire, would you like a message? Can you hear me, Claire?
She has to unmute herself.
Just put your thumbs up if you can hear me. All right, Claire. So would you like a message? Okay, let's mute her again.
No, it's not. It's not Claire.
Okay.
I got it.
So, Claire, this message is for you. Okay? I'm not used to this time delay. Okay. I've got an image of a chipmunk. And it's a cute little chipmunk. And it's running around doing chipmunk things. But every now and then, another chipmunk kind of gets in its little territory and gets in its way, and it has to become very un-chipmunk-like to protect what's valuable to it. I've got a couple of situations around you right now where it may be nice for you to be a little bit more clear about what works for you and kind of the boundaries and kind of setting some guidelines, if you will, to help you get about and do what you need to do. It feels like it's a simple conversation will allow this to happen, but people are so busy worrying about their little chipmunk things, they forget about that every now and then their chipmunk things interfere with other people's chipmunk things. And sometimes you got to set them straight. And that will allow you to let go of a level of stress and a level of level of stress and distraction. So I hope that makes sense, and I bless you and leave you with that. All right, next. I can't see who this is. It's just okay. I can't see who this person is. So I'm going to go to Albert and Hanya. Hi, Albert, Hanya. Can you hear me? Cool. All right. So these messages will be for Hanya first. All right. So Tao Chuan Ling steps very, very close to me, and he wants you to replay this talk 2 or 3 times. He really wants you to take, especially the healing portion of it, and become a master at that type of healing. 2 or 3 things that I spoke about landed and rung true for you. So it's now by time for you to master in your own body and your own experience your healing abilities. He says, for a long time, you've been able to ride the bike, but you haven't gotten back on the bike to ride in a long time. And every time you do, it's not the way you remember it because you're kind of wobbly. But he wants you to keep on riding the bike and practice more and more and more, especially with this visualization technique of the ball and specifically working on different areas of your life. So then you could go ride 100 miles on the bicycle if you wanted to. And I'll bless you and leave you with that. Albert, would you like a message? Okay. So I've never seen this person before around you, but I've got a woman who's right next to you. She has a very grandmotherly feel, and she is busy taking, when the yarn comes, it comes in those kind of spindles. And then they take the yarn and they put it in a ball. They kind of take it out of the spindle and they roll it onto a ball. I don't know why they do that. But she's carefully taking all of her yarn out, measuring it out, and then putting it into the ball. And as she's doing this, you're looking at that, wondering why the heck is she doing that? It seems like it comes out easy from the spool. But you're not asking why. So you got a situation around you where you're observing other people do things. It makes no logical sense to you. It seems like there's other simpler ways to do it. Ask the question why they're doing it and have them explain to you what's going on from their perspective. There still may be a more efficient, better way to do something. But once you understand their logic and their method and why they're doing it, then it allows you to give what I call grant them being and kind of enjoy their process. This person feels like it could be like your grandmother, one of your grandmothers. Could be an aunt, but it's just this total loving. The best way I can describe the feeling is, you all know I'm not the best on describing feelings. But the best I can describe the feeling is there's this loving tolerance of all of your questions and a sense of pride in how you use your mind coming from this entity who's around you. And I don't think this is a regular teacher, but I think this is someone who's been close to you recently during these times. So with that, I'll bless you and leave you with that. And next we have Beverly. Can you hear me, Beverly? Hey.
Okay, that's her. I'm not going to mute her.
So I'm going to offer you a message now. Give us a thumbs up if you can hear me. All right, I got the thumbs up. Now you're very, very close to your camera. So if you can step it back just a little bit, I can see your smiling face.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Well, see, I can't hear, so I have to keep putting the thing up to my ear.
Oh, okay, got it. So keep it up to your ear so you can hear, and then I will give you a message.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I've got Nathan steps very close to me and he shows me this list, and this list is probably 10 miles long. It's got this whole list of stuff in your head that you want to get done, and you don't know where to start. He's reminding you the best place to start is by writing the list out of your head and onto paper. And then once you do that, you'll be able to prioritize which ones you want to do first, which ones you can't do right now because of either resources or time. So get all this stuff out of your head into writing, use your journal, and then set about prioritizing what you want to bring about. He says if you do this, you'll notice that things get much more quiet in there. So with that, I will bless you and leave you with that. And Lisa, you're welcome. And Lisa, would you like a message? Cool. Okay. I guess one of the reasons I always smile and laugh when I give you messages is they're so similar to what I need to hear. So I've got you pulling clothes out of the dryer, and somehow a piece of red clothing that's pretty new got in with your whites. So everything except for the red thing is coming out pink, and you're not happy at all about it. And you don't know how the hell you missed this red thing and it got stuck into with the whites. But you got a situation around right now where it does appear like some choice or decision you made in the not too distant past is going to have some consequences, kind of like the red piece of the red garment in with the whites. It doesn't seem to be very consequential. However, it'll be very noticeable. So just be prepared that if something gets brought to your attention, someone shows up with their white towel and it's pink and saying, what the heck? Just be aware and present with it and just explain what happened and deal with it using all of your skills and your abilities, your intuition, and then reframe it to the fact that, shit happens. I'm sorry it happened. Of the 3,000 decisions I made last week, this one didn't go the right way. And it feels like it's going to be something's going to come up about it Tuesday or Wednesday. So it's pretty close. And it's not something that you can prevent on Monday. It's something that happened like in the last 4 or 5 days. So this is a case of being forewarned is being forearmed. So I bless you and leave you with that. Okay, who do we have here? Hi there, is this Barb? Okay, I can't see a name on here. Someone is wearing kind of a paisley top. Yeah, who is this?
To hit her space bar, see if that'll unmute her.
Okay, let's see if I can unmute you.
You can't.
Okay, so I got you. You're muted right now. So somewhere there, can you unmute? So I want to put a name with the face.
Tell her to hit her space bar.
Okay, I still got you muted. So if you hit Amy says if you hit your space bar, that'll help if you're on a computer. No. Okay, on the bottom of mine, I've got like 3 little icons, but I'm on an iPad.
3 little.
Oh, you're still muted. Okay, you look so familiar, I just can't place your name. Okay, and obviously I suck at reading lips. So would you like a message? Okay. And if you're in our Facebook group, or shoot me an email and let me know your name. Okay, I've got an image of 3 short ladders, and the ladders as you kind of crawl up. The ladders have like 5 rungs each. So you kind of go up this ladder, it's leaning against this, it's almost like a porch. And so you go up 5 rungs, you get on this plateau of this porch, and then you pull the ladder up to the next one and the next one and the next one. And you're kind of on this journey, ascending to some place you hope will give you what you want. And when you get to the top, and this top plateau or top platform, it's probably the size of a very small bathroom. So it's like, it's got room for like the toilet and the sink, but no, it's like a half bath, no type of tub. And as you get up there, you start to look around, and what you find is you find this little tiny orchid. And this orchid is the most exquisite flower you've ever seen. And what's unique about this exquisite flower is it only can grow at a certain elevation. And while you notice it at first, in fact, you kind of have to look around to see it because it's not very conspicuous. Your first thought when you look at it from afar is that's it? I did all this damn work and I just get this little bitty 1.5-inch tall flower. But when you get down on your hands and knees and you really start to inspect and see it for its full beauty, it has so many layers and depths of exquisite detail that you're just blown away. This detail is you and the work you've done in your life, and you're being acknowledged for continuing the ascent, even though at times you didn't have any clue that you were going to get there. Now, the part that you haven't noticed yet, because you're still kind of starting to really see the beauty inside of this little tiny flower, is you haven't taken time to look around at the vista that's around you, because you've been so busy with the ascent, you haven't really stepped into where you are right now. And so for this next few days, allow yourself to journal, allow yourself really to experience what you've accomplished, and know that this little flower is representative of you and the work you've accomplished, because it has been quite remarkable. And if you look back down to where you started to where you are right now, with who you are as a being, I think you'll see what this message is talking about. Now, this is coming from my teacher, Tao Chuan Ling. He's on my right. I don't think you've met him before, but he's a Chinese priest, and his whole job is to help with our overall spiritual growth and development for me, and then he shares that with you. So this was probably given to you by your high spirit teacher. So I bless you and leave you with that. Now, I got one person left who I can't see their picture of.
Hello.
Who's
Hello,
this?
My name is Małgosia. We've met, we spoke on the phone about a year.
Oh, hi. How are you?
In the high desert. Good, how are you?
I am very good. Would you like a message?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Message for me, and also a message for my son Matthew, who is here with me.
Okay, so we got two people there. Matthew. Okay, so this one first is going to be from Matthew. You don't by chance have a way to turn your camera on, do you?
No, not on this computer.
Okay.
I have a new computer, yes.
Okay.
In the future.
Okay. So I'm going to give Matthew a message first.
Thank you.
How old is Matthew?
He's 25.
Okay. Okay, Matthew, are you there? Yeah. Okay. What I'm picking up for you, sir, is I've got you walking on a path, and this path is pretty well worn, meaning that it's you're going through. It's not really like a forest, but it's like it's got bushes and it's got brambles and it's got little short trees and stuff like that. But it's not like this big forest. But the path you're on is well worn. It's hundreds and hundreds of people have walked down this path before. And as you're walking down this path, you're coming up to a small clearing. And the clearing is probably about the size of 1/4 of a football field. So it's not a very big clearing. But what's interesting is when you get to this clearing, the well-worn path disappears. So as you step into this clearing, and all around the clearing is more of this small kind of woody area, you see 3 possible pathways leaving. So you kind of see a path starting to your left, a path almost straight ahead, and a path to your right. But you have no indication which one is going to be best for you to follow. The key to this situation, the circumstance that's coming up for you, and this definitely feels, it's kind of interesting. It feels both It feels both relationship, not romantic relationship, but relationship with others, also with a slight career aspect to it. So the best way to kind of figure out what's next or where you're going to go next is if you stand in the middle of this field. So walk from where you are on this well-worn path, stand right in the middle of the field where when you're in complete sunshine, so the sun's shining on you. In fact, when I look at the image, it's almost like it's high noon because I don't see a shadow going from any direction, but the sun's right above your head, so the shadow is right below you. Take a couple of 3 deep breaths and allow yourself to use this intuitive ability you have within, which serves you very well when you listen, but you don't listen very often because life is lifing and everything's busy. Take a few deep breaths in the center of this clearing, and I would say that our situation we find ourselves in right now is kind of represents this clearing. Mentally walk down each of the 3 paths before you. And you don't want to put too much thinking about it, but you got a path on the left, a path straight ahead, and a path to the right. And it looks like 3 choices that you're considering, that you're aware of. Take your mind and allow yourself to see where you are a year from now if you go down the path on the left, a year from now if you go down the path on the right, and a year from now if you go down the path on the middle. So as you kind of look at yourself and the future that you would create on these 3 different paths, it's not an exact science, but one of them will feel better, will feel different. And the way you want to measure this is you want to write it down in a journal, kind of your feelings, and you want to visit it 2 or 3 days in a row and deepen your mental process and your mental exercise of examining where you'll be in a year if you take each of these paths. And one of them will make more sense to you logically, but one of them will make more sense to you more spiritually, more intuitively. It's like, so the smart money would be on the one that makes logical sense, but in your heart and in your being, the one that feels better intuitively is the one that you want to pay attention to. Now, one of them just is not like a non-starter. It's like you just look at it and it's almost as logically inappropriate as the one that makes logical sense. So enjoy that. If you have questions, you can shoot me an email on it. And I'll happy to help you develop more skills on that. I'll bless you and leave you with that. All right, Mom, would you like a message?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. I've got you. It feels like you're probably 10 or 12 years old. And I've got you laying on your back, looking up at clouds, trying to figure out what each cloud looks like. And right next to you is a person that feels a little bit older than you. And you will look at the cloud and you see a cat and they say, no, it's a dog. And then you look at the cloud and you say, oh, that looks like a cow. And they say, no, it's a camel. So every time you see something and you get an impression of what it is, this other person around you always says it's something different. Now, the reason you're being given this message today, and again, it's from Tao Chuan Lin, is for a long time you have always doubted what you feel and what you think is right, and you've always deferred to what other people have said. And what I mean by that is you've always kind of allowed them to override your guts and your feelings. So you haven't really developed a great deal of trust in your ability to see things the way, trust what you see. So during this next period of time, especially if you're going to start working on start working on the energy work. I want you to really get clear about seeing things as they are, the way you see them. And if it feels right to you, go with it. And if someone else has a different opinion, what we do is we bless them and we leave them with it, because it's time for you to make a couple of choices, and these choices rely on your ability to trust what you see, trust how you interpret what you see, and more importantly, allow yourself to accept that everyone has their own opinion, but none are any greater than your opinion. And if you can really practice this and start to trust what you know and what you feel, then things will be much smoother moving forward. And I'll bless you and leave you with that.
Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, I believe everyone's gotten a message. So I want to thank you all for joining us. It went a little bit longer than I thought it would, but that seems to happen with me. As we wrap up, I want to encourage you to join us on the Healing Circle or the Messages Circle on Wednesday. The best way to do that is to shoot me an email and I'll get you added to our mailing list. The people who are getting invited to the live webinar are people who are in our Old Soul Academy group and people on my mailing list. So those are the people who are invited to join us live that can get a message. And the people out here in Facebook and YouTube, I want to thank you for joining us. And we'll finish with a brief prayer and hope to see you on Wednesday at the Messages Circle. So I want to thank Spirit for their presence in our life today. As we move forward in these uncertain times, help us remember that the Spirit within us is equally knowledgeable, equally experienced, and equally evolved to any of those entities around us, any of our spirit guides and teachers. And help us in our efforts to quiet our minds, calm our emotions, and see things as they really are, to open the spiritual eyes of our soul, that we can access our spirit self, rediscover that part of ourselves that will live after this physical body ceases to live, and access the wisdom within, that knowing. And by so doing, allow us to rediscover our spirit for living, our spirit for life, that verve, that enthusiasm for what we incarnated this lifetime to bring about. And allow us to do the work required, to learn how to ride the bicycle, if you will, to communicate directly with you, our spirit guides and teachers, and do so in a verifiable way that allows us to know and know what we know to assist our path and our progression this lifetime. And together we say, and so it is. So I want to thank you all. If you can, shoot me feedback and let me know what you think about this overall service and thing. If you're on YouTube, go kind of like the YouTube channel and stuff like that. That's really good for us. If you're on Facebook, join us in the Old Soul Academy. And if you want to join our mailing list, send me an email at ts@tshall.com and we'll get you added to the mailing list. So, yay! See you all next time. Maya's blessings.
Yay, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good day.
I'm still learning.
We all are, darling.